kept reading all the rest. Now the table's getting clear, and the truth is pretty near. Say play, say loud, let the old smoke blow out. One look, one sign, if it's real then cross the line. This is where we tell it like it is, tell it like it is, tell it like it is. This is where we tell it.
Whoop, whoop. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you all for showing up. As small as the crowd might be, this is how Kickstarts get going. We need to talk. And it's not because it's a new story in terms of context, but the content, it is a new story about something that has been going on for a while. And I will be upsetting some females today. Not saying that the men don't play a role too, but we've been seeing more and more mothers do this. And I don't mean I shouldn't say mothers. I'm going to use a terminology used by the left. A childbirthing person is usually to blame. We're going to go into the story first, and then I'll show you that this is not where we shouldn't be surprised, okay? This young man on the screen, supposed to be a kid. I'm still trying to figure out the dynamics of whether this is real or not, okay? So this could be an AI image. It could be manufactured. It could not be a true story. I lean to more that it is a true story, only because of what I'll share after. But let's, for the sake of the argument, I believe that this is real, okay? A message from a school to this kid's mother said, "Hi, Miss Williams. It's Dr. Smith over at whatever elementary. Do you have a moment?" She then says, "Hey, Dr. Smith, yes, I'm at work, but I can text. I go on break in 30 minutes. Is everything okay? So you're going to have to come and get Kevin." She says, "What's wrong? Is he okay?" The teacher says, "Yes, but he can't be in school dressed inappropriately." Okay, so he can't be in a school setting dressed inappropriately. You should send him to school. You send him to school in a skirt. Boys must dress like boys and girls must dress like girls. It's highly inappropriate for his age. He would either have to change clothes or leave. That's the first thing that made me think that maybe it was not a real story, only because of the wording and how he decides to put it out. It almost seems like it was an intentional crafted statement to upset people who, on that side of the spectrum. She then says, "I let my son express himself." It doesn't is spelled wrong. It says DOESENT. Doesn't say anything in the code of conduct of how genders dress, as long as he is in the correct colors. You have to come get him or bring clothes. Otherwise, he will sit in ISS. Okay? So let's go with the premise that this is indeed true. What could lead me to believe that is true? Well, we have history. History tells us that this can be a possibility because I'll show you something. I'll show you something really, really good that you might not have known about because it's not very much remembered. It's something that we seem to forget now. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here. One of which is a video that is older, and I mean much older, 6-7 years. Yeah, okay. This is what this one is.
What are you from today? Okay. I follow you into the park.
That's a boy, by the way.
Love one like you.
And both the father and the mother are indulging in dressing him like a girl. Okay. We're not making this about race. We're making this about very, very horrible, deplorable, disgusting parenting. Okay.
You guys ready for school?
Waterfalls, alleyways, and payphone calls.
Good luck, buddy. Love you.
Okay. That has become normal. But wait, 6 years, you say? That's not very far back. That seems like par for the course. Okay. Let's go back further. How about if we add, say, 10, 11 years to that number? Do you think 17 years ago you would have been seeing that? Just a thought, say 17 years, okay? What would that be? We're in 2026, right? That'd be about what? Anyone want to guess about a time frame? Now remember, everyone thought that this was just a recent thing being taken off. No, okay. So 17 years ago would make it what? 2010, right? 2011, something like that. Okay. Let's go.
And that was our first competitor, Helga Mueller of Germany. Long form, very passionate young lady. Skating since the age of 2.
That's a boy, not a woman, not a male, adult male. I'm talking about boy. That's a young boy putting on makeup as a normal thing for him to do at the okaying of his mother. Now, if you think maybe to yourself, this might just be one of those things we have to leave alone because it doesn't affect my kid. Well, here's the thing. Your kid might be going to school with a kid like that. And a kid like that influences a lot. Don't forget, you have far less time unless the weekends, you count the weekend. The system and people have more contact with your child than sometimes you do. You want the proof? School starts at around what, 7:30, 8 o'clock for some, but you normally 7:30 you stop seeing your kid. Your kid comes home around 3:30. Okay, some may come home later depending on if they have after school program or sports programs, right? So let's say on average from 7:30 to 3, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30. How much time do you have with them when they come home? So they get home at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say of that time, 2 hours is spent not around you. How much influence now do you think you have versus how much they have on your child? So don't say that it doesn't affect you, because it does affect you, because no matter what you do, those kids might be around your kids more than you're around your kids. And the best influencer of any type is time. Time. But it got worse, because here's the thing. From that point, one thing is kids, but what happens when this becomes ingrained? Okay, like, so you do the kid thing and they boys dress like girls and they go for it. What happens when they become adults?
No pace was too slow at today's red dress run through the French Quarter. Maddie Kerr takes us to that route where scarlet fashion stretched as far as the eye could see.
Imagine thousands of men in red dresses chugging beer and calling it a workout. Welcome to the second Saturday of August in New Orleans. This is the Red Dress Run, where the only thing tighter than the dresses is the beer budget.
You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? We might be looking at this from a perspective of the kids, but please don't forget the whole onus and where this became standardized. It's not with the children.
Thousands of people descend on the French Quarter, rouged up and ready to celebrate.
Accentuates all the curves.
Very flattering.
Right. You'll see a lot of shoe choices. Some will be brave with their heels. Some go just to match the outfit.
It's a 2-mile run, and I use that word very loosely, through the French Quarter. And yes, hydration is taken very seriously. It's 21 and up. It's messy. It's fabulous. And every dollar raised goes to local New Orleans charities.
And there is how they hide everything. You see if it's a good thing. I'm trying to cure my kid's mental illness. He has a problem trying to assimilate, figure out who he is. So we figured we'd let him choose. Society is built on this now. To the point where if you decide to have any kind of scruples at all, you're the bad guy. Why? You're not inclusive enough. You're not inclusive enough. You are ridiculous. Why are you making such a fuss about it? It ain't your life. So let me ask again. I love elephants, especially in rooms. So let's ask about this elephant in the room. You dress your son in an outfit. That's what I'm saying. You do. Your parents do this. You dress your son in a girl's outfit and send him to school. Okay, he's between, let's just give him a good age. Say he is 9. Okay, you send him, a male, dressed in female clothing to school. A pervert sees him and is even more intrigued because now the him looks like a her, and that's where their fetish lies. So who is to blame? Hear me carefully. Who's to blame if that individual messes with your child? You are to blame. The child we showed you that was trying to find clothes in closet, both mom and dad are there, which tells me that the father has some sort of issue with himself. At the onset, I told you this might or may not be true. Okay, the whole story. But somebody had to be okay with putting it together as a false story, knowing it would gain traction. So, which means it must be mainstream already. We don't want to admit it. Grandkids, great grandkids, just kids. They don't need to express a whole lot. That crap, but I'm just having them express themselves. There are some kids that love to express themselves with bats. I want to make sure I get this right. So with sexuality, it's okay for them to be exploratory and step out and do stuff. But if the adult that's teaching them this catches on that might be something the kid likes, you're not going to say nothing, 1. And 2, you'll think it's also purely natural. But that makes sense. Sure, let's go with that. How do we get... At some point, the ones of us that have the brain cells still to rub together need to stop giving credence to the ones that don't. What I mean by that, do not use their terms to describe them. Use what is real. They're crazy and they're groomers. Okay. That includes the parents of that young man that was putting on the dress. Those parents are indeed groomers. They don't love their kid. If they loved their son, they wouldn't do that to him. That's hate. That is straight up unequivocal hate for their son. You notice that the daughter ain't transitioning, but the son is for some reason. You got a boy and a girl. You don't got 2 girls, no matter how much you want it. Maybe that's the answer. The answer is that there are people, women out there, that have a hope to get a certain type of child and they don't. And the first one to have that happen said, you know what? I can change this. I'll just make him a girl. Well, they also have examples, by the way. I mean, I just remembered. You remember Charlize Theron? Y'all remember who Charlize Theron is? She played in Monster. She played in Hancock. A couple other movies that I can't remember off the top of my head. But Charlize Theron, South African, an African, she adopted 2 black boys that she eventually turned into girls. The only thing I can think of, this is just me, the only thing I can think of is that there is a conglomeration of women out there that are so angry that they are willing to destroy their own children just to make themselves feel warranted in their anger, not to get better, to feel warranted in their anger towards whatever diaspora they have a hate towards. In this case, it's men. But you can tell that their hate and their disdain and their distrust doesn't go very far, because they'll also appeal to the same men to give them laws. Make that one make sense. I know you hate me, but give me your laws so I may keep them. Not only that, give me your laws so I can operate within them and get some things I don't say I want, which is money. I don't want money, but you still use the suing system that the government, you say, doesn't. You see my point? The thing is that you say a whole lot, but you don't act. The only thing you act on so far is that destruction of your child. You love that. That's gold. Let's say, true statement, young child, took him to school, left him there. The teacher didn't see him show up. And again, AI. He pulls up, drops him off. You drive off. He's there. Dress. No call. Right then and there. Nope. Okay. But again, we're saying this is real. So he gets there in a dress and is starting to go through his day. What exactly do you expect the teachers to do? That's all I want to. What do you expect the teachers to do? Are they supposed to just be quiet, let it happen? Forget their knowledge of what actual biology is? What exactly do you expect them to do? I want to believe that somehow these parents are really just naive, but I can't anymore. If it happens too many times, you must start thinking it's on purpose, right? Say for instance, you stub your toe and you stub your toe, boom, ow, ow, oh. Your mind has now told you there's a leg right there. Don't do it again. But in the stubbing of your toe, your wife or husband sees it and they, oh my gosh, oh honey, look at you, oh my gosh. And they tell you, sit down. They don't want the blood to rush to your head. Sit down. Then you realize, hold on. I got some good sympathy out of that. I'm going to pretend I stub my toe next time. You get used to the attention, right? That's what these parents are doing. They see that there's a potential for attention. It has nothing to do with their care for their kids. The second part of it is that they're doing it in order to see how far they can take the envelope with children. I don't see any other reason. Listen, I don't see any other reason why you would think, listen to me carefully, if being trans is normal, that's what you want me to believe, and all sexual fantasies are normal, that's what you want me to believe, then where is the harm in telling your child, well, I understand how you feel, but here's what, we'll wait until after you're of age so that they can't take you from me. That doesn't happen. You notice that? I'm going to wait till you're of age so that you fully flesh this out and make sure it's the right. They don't do that neither. I'm just going to make sure that you understand the gravity. No, they don't do that neither. They just say, I'm affirming my child's truth. He feels like a girl, so he's gonna be a girl. How exactly does a male confirm that he feels like a female? Again, I don't know how females feel. This is the dilemma. I don't know how a female feels, but I know I feel like one. And as such, I'm sure my son, who hasn't been able to talk yet, definitely wants to dress like a woman. Did you know? Hear me again. Did you know that children from like toddlers don't have a clue what they got on? They couldn't care. Like most of them could not care. You'll see princesses, right? They dress up in their princess outfit, cowboy boots. Why? They want to go stomp in some mud. Kids don't care, right? They wear the clothes or they don't wear the clothes. But the theory behind it comes from the parents. You feel like a girl, so dress like a girl. And the instant they do that, I know you're grooming. Why else would you want a boy to be a girl, to be lighter, sweeter, softer? It must be for manipulative means. You have to be able to manipulate them. That's the only thing I could think of. Why would you lie to your son? He's trying to express himself. No, he ain't. He's expressing you. He is expressing you. He saw and listened to you say, do this. He's only doing it because you told him to. Now it will become normal to him because you said so. You love you, some you, and you think everybody else should too. This is a problem with today's mothers. Now, understand that a husband and wife that have a good relationship won't do this to their children, but there are still some that have a good marriage and they do this to their children. The problem is here that many people will see the situation and abuse it. They know that the family of these children are pro-LGBTQ+, right? There was a story some time ago out of Oregon. These two men adopted children. Well, they adopted one child to be specific. And the reasons they adopted this child was to fulfill fantasies and record it, put it on the dark web. The whole house was rainbow flag themed. It's no different. I don't care if whether they were gay or she's straight and jazz. It's the same thing. It is exact same behavior. You take an innocent child and put your own disgusting blueprint on him and say, well, that's how they are. It's not how they are naturally. Stop. Stop. A toddler, not even a toddler. Let's go back to an infant, a baby, 4 or 5 months old. Let's go to 5 months. Will grab daddy's face and kiss him on the mouth. Does that mean that the baby gay? Where's your marker for the baby's gay? That you know it's born that way. I can tell when a baby's born a certain way. Born with dark hair, born with light hair, curly, straight, no hair, born with certain facial features. How do you know if your child is not able, considering that homosexuality is a sexually exploitative disorder, how do you know that your baby is gay? To where you were saying, this is how he's always wanted to be, so we're going to dress him up. Like, how did you know that? What did the infant give you by way, listen to me carefully, that your child, male or female, gave you hints as a baby that they're gay? The only way they can tell you that is if they've already had sexual attraction to that child. There is no human on this earth, a regular thinking human, would ever look at a child and think that needs to transition. No, they are molesters. And they are hoping that one day, if this is prolonged enough, that the standard for this will come down. It's not a crime anymore. Morally, it's becoming more acceptable. Even children are saying okay with it because they know they've been indoctrinating the children over and over. Look, I know this particular. I see people tackling this particular thing from a perspective of blame the mom. Okay, yes, we can. The mom's a problem. The mom is a problem because she listens to society and what they think they should do. I get that. 100%. I get it. Fully on board with you. Mama should be prosecuted. But mama is leaning into a part of society that told her this is how it is. She's leaning into this part of society that feeds her inability as a parent, but still makes her feel as though she's done something. Take, for instance, majority of children have mental issues. Okay. So you have a child, mental issues, and you give into the child's mental issues and they seem happy. Now you are considering yourself a good parent. You've done what every good parent would do, is give your child what they want. But is that what the child wants, or is that what you wanted to be able to say that's your child? Which is it? Because I have a suspicion, a very sneaky suspicion, that you don't really care about how people view your child, or two, what your child does. You don't care. As long as your agenda is what they follow. And your agenda seems to be more of that of seeing how sexy a little boy looks in a dress. The amount of things and hoops you got to go through for that child to be able to dress like a girl. Let's do some mile markers here. Okay, male, child's born. You might believe that you might be a little bit queer in your head. Somehow you figure it out. Genius. Anyway, child gets a little bit older. Child starts to crawl, and he crawls to put things in his mouth. You think, oh, this is definitely signs of him being gay. Kisses dad on the mouth, kisses grandpa on the mouth. You know what? The first thing you'll say, see, he definitely has traits to it. Or hear me out. That's not what that is. You consistently saying that's what it is, and you begin to, on your own, craft a narrative around what you think you see, and you build on it. So now you have a metric, and your metric says, see, these children are definitely aware that they're gay from young. Why? They had no problem with me getting them a dress. So then that goes on for one or so generations. Then their mind starts to realize it doesn't correlate with what I'm feeling. Mental issues really start to, so what did it do? Set you up and someone else to do? So you step in there, you do it, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm back again. The same circle again. No, I don't want to be a girl. Then the boy's getting confused. Now, what did it say? Suicide rates are up. We got to make sure we do more things to get these children transition early. Forget being an adult. Remember, first it was just giving into the idea that they want to be a girl. Okay, they're born that way. When they're an adult, when they can make decisions, just like it would be with any straight adult, when you become an adult, you really pick your life. For some reason, when it's these kids, no, we got to make the choice for them when they're a child. That's grooming. If you're a parent that's pro this, you're a groomer. Because there's no feasible way you can look at your child, think they're gay, and then continue to dress them accordingly when they have said and done nothing but what you believe. You want to see them in a dress. You are a sick individual. You're a perv. Sorry to be the one that exposes this, but every parent and human that has no problem with a child, a little boy, or even a little girl, dressing up to be a man because they feel like a man, you are a groomer. And the only reason you think like that is because you've already pictured it for some sick reason. There can be no clean reason for that. None. You can't give me one honest reason why any adult would think this baby gay, I need to raise him according. No straight, no regular, normal thinking human being does that. Groomers do, though. Groomers do it. They will go out of their way to make the person that they're targeting feel like how they have them in their mind. So this goes far beyond some viral text exchange and a boy standing in a dress. This comes back to the whole pattern of behavior that has been in front of us for 20 years. 20. I do feel for the young man because the confusion he's going to experience within the next 5 years is going to be catastrophic. And when his body starts to reject the notion that his mind is telling him is true, because his body knows it's not true, and he's been listening to people he says he loves and they say love him, he's going to look in the mirror and realize, I don't fit any of the molds that they tell me I should. Then more trouble. In comes the problem. The problem of gender confusion. And what happens then? Suicide. Let's look at this. Let's look at the suicide rate, okay? Transgender youth suicide statistic. All right. 40.8% of transgender non-binary high school students have made a suicide attempt in their lifetime. Just under half. If you don't think that's a staggering number, you'd be hard pressed to find half of America doing anything. Okay, again, that number, 40.8. 18.8% of trans middle school students between the grades of 6 and 8 attempt suicide within the last 12 months. Why do you think that is? That is that way because the children are inundated with this nonsense that they have to be something that they're not. And then their body starts to change contrary to what they have been told. I don't feel like a guy. Okay, you don't feel like a guy. We'll help you dress like a female. You get to an age, females are supposed to have something they call periods. You don't have it. But you know what? Boys have something else. A certain age hits a boy, and there are certain things that start to happen to them too. You think, women, y'all might think you have, something big, like the menstrual thing. It is big deal. Once a month, perfect. Did you know that men have something, but not to do with the actual cleansing? Did you know a certain age hits a dude, sometimes he can't control body and mind, and they work apart from him? And when that happens, all of a sudden, the I'm a woman thing doesn't have a whole lot of water in it. So here's the confusion for the child, like the black kid in the picture, right? Mama told me, and I think I'm a boy. I'm a girl. But I don't have what the girls have by now. But I have another issue, and that doesn't seem like what girls have. Now I'm confused. In comes parent. No, you're a girl. You're a girl. You just have to be a girl that doesn't have that particular function. Okay. Then they get older and older, and they leave the house. They find a doctor. Doctor, I was told as a youth that I could be a girl, but I didn't have these parts. Can I get these parts? The parts is not what makes you female, by the way. Like you can swap it out, only one. The function of the body parts is what makes you female. Look what I can do. I can take a cadaver of a female, take out all her parts and put it in me. I'm not a female. I could put a whole implant of a womb in me, still not a female. I don't have the body parts to feed a womb. Women have a weird body, so strangely crafted that they can magically produce things in their bodies to feed a child. Males can't do that. So you want to know why they keep killing themselves? Because they've been told something that isn't true. And then when they look for the reality of the truth, it doesn't show up. And they get confused and angry because their friends who might be a girl is doing all this stuff, and all I want to do is that. What do I do? Kill themselves. Parents should be blamed. This woman, whether it's real or not, should be held accountable. Jail. For real jail. And anyone else pushing this nonsense should be exactly there. Jail. Straight to jail. Do you remember some time ago was it on Maury or Springer? I think he's initially made his debut on Springer. I want to say Springer. But where people mostly heard about him was with an interview with, what's his name? He has a gap in his tooth. Black football player, Strahan. Okay. Strahan. And when he went on Dennis, is it Dennis or Desmond? Desmond is amazing. You remember Desmond is amazing? Do you remember that one? Let's take a gander at Desmond is amazing. This was 7 years. Okay, 7. This is nothing new. It's nothing new. Here you go.
If you haven't heard the name Desmond Napolis, get ready for this trailblazing 11-year-old drag kid who RuPaul is calling the future. His bravery is inspiring so many. We're going to talk to him in just a moment, but first,
he's inspiring so many. A grown man is looking at a child in drag, a boy, a young boy, dressed up like a female, and speaking like, look, Michael, whether you gay or not, you sure act, and whether you're a predator or not, you sure talk like one. You sure indeed speak as though you're somebody that should be on a registry, bro. You don't find that sick? No, that's groundbreaking. Then you listen to a whole nother dude that dresses like a woman say he's gonna be the future. Walk like a duck, act like a duck, talk like must be a duck. Okay, it's a duck. Desmond is amazing. He's not the only one. There have been stories keep popping up over and over of these people doing this to these children. Dwayne Wade did it with his son. Michael Johnson, Magic Johnson did it with his son. They all do it. And then when the kid tries to kill themselves, society's fault. No, no, no. I think any child who's trans and has a suicide attempt, the parents should be in jail. Right off the rip. You should serve a minimum 5 years for that. And then get the child rehabilitated somewhere else where they won't have that nonsense and foisted on them. If you're the parents, mother, father, whatever, and the child comes out dresses like, and it's a boy, send you straight to jail 5 years. That's child abuse. That's sexual child abuse. That's exploitation sexually of a child. There isn't a cure. It's going to get worse. It's going to expound. It's going to just keep going. The best we can do is to make sure that our kids are aware that this ain't normal. It's not normal. Absolutely abnormal. And look, the mother of this whole thing that kickstarted this live, the mother asking, I just let myself, you are weird. But there are also some women that want their children to be almost like their second husband. There are quite a few women out there that treat their male sons as though they are their husbands. Look at this couple. And I do mean couple because it's a son and a daughter, a son and a mom. They call this the TikTok challenge, right? Where the mom and the son swap clothes. It's funny, huh? That's funny. That's not funny. Because it puts the word challenge and TikTok in there and you put some silly music. It's funny now. We were supposed to be advancing as a civilization, right? Supposed to be. And I was teaching, I was the one to call things out. Yeah, well, sometimes you got to, but in this today and age, you do that, you get fired. You do that today, you're gonna get fired. No, you will. You'll be fired. You'll be fired because you're discriminatory. Eventually, this will go more than just having your son dress as a girl. You'll also not be no problem with a teacher messing with your son because he's dressed like a girl. And you'll have no problem with pedophiles touching your child because he dresses like a girl. And everyone says, oh, too far, too far. We were telling you it was going to go this way. And you said that was too far. We told you before too long, they'll have the gay people doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We tried telling you that. No, you're not. What is it now? When we tried telling you about even the Muslims taking over, that's too far. But what's happening now? Okay. Gotcha. I am no longer trying to understand your motives, your logic, your trauma. Don't care. If you're not logical enough to leave all that when trying to raise kids, then that's a you problem. That's a you problem. Yeah. Anyway, it's not going to be a very long one today. We'll come back next Tuesday. I'll be back. And I think I have a tag. I kind of use the whole hodgepodge. So you'll hear it when I'm ready. Appreciate y'all, though. I do. I really appreciate y'all helping this channel get back up. It's working. It's moving along slowly, but it's moving. The more you can do to send stuff out, share it as much as possible, that'd be appreciated. Okay. But for now, we'll be back on Tuesday. Be direct, be legit, and tell it like it is. Peace.
I kept reading all the rest. Now the table's getting clear, and the truth is pretty near. Say play, say loud, let the old smoke blow out. One look, one sign, if it's real then cross the line.